Welcome to Legacy of Leaders. I'm Dan Edelman of Heritage Capital, your host. On Legacy of Leaders, we talk with community leaders who are making a difference in Jacksonville. Today we have with us Stella Johnson from Hope Haven, the CEO. Stella, thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Dan. Glad to be here.
Stella, you've been a leadership in the nonprofit community for a number of years, came behind a very good leader at Hope Haven with high expectations. If I'm a young, up-and-coming nonprofit person who wants to be a leader, what advice would you give to them to advance their career?
I think one of the best questions I've learned to ask of both myself and of my colleagues is this your best work? And when you ask yourself that question, is this your best work? You learn where you can do your best work. Some people thrive in large, multifaceted, complicated organizations that are doing a lot of different things. Some people do their best work in very small grassroots organizations where they're responsible to do a lot of different things. Finding out where it is that you deliver your best quality of work and then seeking those opportunities out is something that I would encourage young people who want to grow in leadership positions to explore and really understand that for themselves.
In your position with Hope Haven, different than a lot of other organizations, you've got challenges with employees, and you have challenges with your clients who are really, in many instances, in a very distressed situation. How do you navigate that as a leader?
Lots of deep breaths. Lots of deep breaths. Lots of reminding myself, number one, and this isn't to be callous, but nobody called 911 and got us. So it's not an emergency in that I have to fix it right now. It's important that I need to understand it and give the space to figure out what is the best course of action and rely on my colleagues for their expertise. And by taking that deep breath and pausing and reminding myself it's okay not to fix it right now, I give space for the collaboration of finding the right solution, the best solution.
And you said relying on your colleagues. You've got, you've got clients who have medical related issues. You have clients who have financial related issues.
Absolutely.
And so you've got colleagues who are trying to deal with all aspects of that dilemma that these families and clients face.
Yeah, something that we've done is gone to a fee-for-service model so that we know exactly what things are costing and what we charge for services, and then we've braided in our funding to support that delivery of care. So it's critically important to me that everything we do is high quality, top quality. And for people that have the resources to afford to pay that, we are thrilled that they choose Hope Haven. That validates the quality of the care we're delivering. And for those who are less financially resourced, we bring in financial assistance to subsidize those fees. And so everyone is able to access the same quality of care in the same amount of time relative to their financial position.
And as a leader, I've been in the business side of things, the for-profit side. You've been on the nonprofit side. What drove you to get on the nonprofit side, which is, again, so important to the community as a whole?
I never saw it as a distinguishing feature. I was always drawn to youth and family services, and it just happened that came into a not-for-profit arena. I worked in restaurants as a teenager and learned a ton about managing business from that perspective, and that served me well. But it was never about being in a nonprofit or for-profit. Nonprofits are businesses like any other. We make payroll just like every other for-profit business. And I just get to deliver a service that has a significant impact on the lives of our community members, and that's really amazing.
So if a leader is looking for a change, you wouldn't see it as a difficult transition per se to go from a for-profit entity to a nonprofit, again, depending on the complexity of the type of organization.
I think there are some cultural differences in how organizations are operated and run. Somebody who's looking to change from the for-profit sector to get into the nonprofit sector, I would encourage them to first volunteer and get a sense of the organization. And again, go back to that question of where do you do your best work, and let that guide the types of organizations you're seeking out. There is an incredibly robust array of organizations in our community, and Jacksonville in particular is known for the high level of collaboration that we have in the sector. So if a place like Hope Haven isn't the right place for you, I like to introduce colleagues or potential colleagues to other organizations that might be a great fit and that match their interests and their personality of where they're going to succeed and thrive.
Well, your organization, I know, has helped a lot of families in very difficult situations with children who have disabilities or challenges. And I know personally, having been involved with Hope Haven, it's just wonderful to work with an organization who's done so much for the community for so many years. I mean, there's a long history. So
Almost
thank you
100 years. Yeah.
for what you and your staff are doing. And to those of you watching, especially any of those of you who are considering becoming a leader in a nonprofit, hopefully this has helped you. I'm Dan Edelman from Heritage Capital, your host. Thank you at home for joining us, and Stella, thank you for joining me today.
Thank